Cyber Dragons are a really good deck this format. While I don't see them being the best deck, I definitely feel they are an amazing sleeper deck this format. And yes, there are cards that hard counter this deck. Like, super hard. I'm talking the big hard. I'm just gonna go over my 5 reasons why Cyber Dragons are the best sleeper deck this format. Before this video starts, I just want to mention, you should make sure you play a Chimera Tech Fortress / Mega Fleet Dragon in your extra deck if you can. The reason why is because the Chimera Tech monsters are the big hard. Reason 1, Cyber Dragons don't care about the extra link, Sky Striker links, and more. So the big appealing factor about Cyber Dragon is that it really doesn't care about the extra link. Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon is a card. For those who are unaware, the effect is as follows. 1 Cyber Dragon monster plus 1+ monsters in the extra monster zone cannot be used as fusion material, must first be special summoned from your extra deck by sending the above cards from either field to the graveyard. You do not use polymerization. Literally everything else in the effect is irrelevant, but if you must know, the original attack of this card becomes 1200 times the number of fusion materials used for its special summon. So let's focus on the only relevant thing about this card, how you summon it. It initially requires 1 Cyber Dragon monster and 1+, that plus is relevant, monsters in the extra monster zone. Now, for novices on what these Chimera Tech monsters are incredibly good for, is they can use monsters from both sides of the field. Yeah, that's right, Super Poly, but with the Cyber Dragon. Here's my point. You can use this card on extra links. How it works is as follows. Summon any Cyber Dragon monster, it could even be Cyber Dragon's Y, even though he's shit, and just fuse with both monsters in the extra monster zone, because it says 1+. Anyways, that's how you break an extra link with Cyber Dragons. Really simple, like literally too simple. And that's why this deck is so good. This deck literally shits on Goki, unless you don't draw any Cyber Dragons, in which case that's unfortunate. But Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon can be used against other decks as well. So for example, in the Sky Striker matchup, you can do the same thing, and it's really effective because they can't summon back the Ray when this occurs. So just in general, Chimera Tech Mega Fleet Dragon is really good. However, even though the Chimera Tech monsters are really good, they're also your deck's biggest weakness. So what do I mean by this? Well, remember earlier how I was saying the Chimera Tech monsters are the big hard? Okay, yeah, I'll stop with that now. Well, your opponent can literally out any Cyber Dragon field with just 1 Chimera Tech monster, unless it's just 1 Cyber Dragon monster. Even just Seeger plus Infinity can be outed with the greatest of ease, as all you need to do is use both of them for a Chimera Tech Fortress Dragon. We're really good. Basically though, you don't need a Cyber Dragon on your field in order to fuse with this card. Since your opponent has the required materials already, you just use their monsters as materials. It is really broken, and my point is, if this deck ever becomes legitimate enough, people will put this monster in their extra deck. It completely outs a Cyber Dragon field, and although they want to go second, they can easily set up a turn 1 board, which I'll talk about later. Alright, reason 2. They are consistent, powerful, can float, and Infinity is a absolutely crazy monster. TLDR, their card pool is amazing. So Cyber Dragons are actually really consistent with the new support from this year. Probably the best monster in the deck, as it always has been, being able to search any cyber spell / trap. The pool of cyber spell / traps is really good, including Cyber Rev System, a monster reborn for the archetype that also prevents it from being destroyed by card effects. Cyber Emergency, which is a Rhoda for the archetype. Cyber Repair Plan, which is another Rhoda for the archetype. And an actual amazing trap known as Cybernetic Overflow, which I'll talk about later. Ignoring the Cyber Dragon cards, we have Galaxy Soldier, which has become even better than before with the release of hers. The kind of bad at first, it's one of the core monsters in the entire extra deck. We also have some more generically good cards. For example, Summon Sorceress. Summon Sorceress is actually amazing in this deck. Well, no shit, Blade. Summon Sorc is a really good card. Well, no shit, Ominous Voice that I've never heard before. I know this card is good. I like to repeat the obvious. But anyways, Summon Sorceress is very versatile in what you need to do, as you can summon hers from the deck for link summoning and regaining resources. You can summon the OG Cyber Dragon or Galaxy Soldier if you need to for rank 5 plays, and it's just overall so powerful. Cyber Dragons have also been running Nightmare Griffin for a combo when you go first. I'll also talk about that later. One other thing is that Cyber Dragons float really well. Cyber Dragon Core turns nothing into something, as it has an effect when it's in the graveyard where if your opponent opponent is the only person that controls a monster, you can banish core and special summon a Cyber Dragon monster from the deck. Hers is another floater as well when it's sent to the graveyard. You can add one Cyber Dragon from your graveyard or deck to your hand. It can only search for the original Cyber Dragon when searching from the deck. However, since core is treated as a Cyber Dragon in the graveyard, you can also retrieve core as well as a follow-up for the following turn. So reason 3, they don't care that much about floodgates and can play them for going first. This might not seem relevant, but 12 spots in the top 64 of YCS Columbus were stun decks. All of these stun decks play floodgates like Rivalry of the Warlords, Ghost in Match, and more. However, when you flip a floodgate against Cyber Dragon, they literally couldn't care less. They even play Rivalry of the Warlords in their side deck when they have to go first. Why might they have to go first, you may ask? Well, for my number 4 reason, it's the best going second deck right now. Cyber Dragons inherently want monsters on your opponent's field, as can clearly be seen by the original Cyber Dragon. You want the extra draw for going second. This deck was born to go second. The Chimera deck monsters complement the idea of going second so heavily as well. Even when your opponent sets up a U-board, it literally doesn't matter when you just normal summon a Cyber Dragon infusion from Mega Fleet. You might have been wondering what happens when you get Gumblard for 4 cards. Well, again, because all the Cyber Dragon monsters float, you just get your resources back. Long story short, it doesn't matter if they Gumblard you for 4, as you can easily come back and still win the game. The deck can break your opponent's board with ease, and then set up your own with infinity. I still have no clue why that card was printed. It's actually absurd. This deck also utilizes Evenly Matched, which has always been an amazing card. Literally, people sleep on that card. I think Evenly Matched has fallen out of popularity, but it's still really good. While writing this video, I realized a video about Evenly Matched would actually be a really good idea. So check out my channel, BladeYGO, and subscribe if you want to stay updated on when that video comes out. Link will probably be in the description. The deck is able to keep pushing, which is something else I really love about this deck. It's not normal summon reliant, which is really important when taking into consideration a format like this. And finally, reason number 5. Even though they want to go second, they can still go first really easily. While this deck thrives on going second, that doesn't mean it can't go first. There is a really good combo that ends on having Cyber Dragon Infinity, Nightmare Griffin, Cyber Dragon Seeger, and Cybernetic Overflow. Now you might be wondering what Cybernetic Overflow does. Well, it's a trap card with the following effect. Banish Cyber Dragons with different levels from your hand, face-up field, and /or graveyard. Then destroy an equal number of cards your opponent controls. If this card on the field is destroyed by card effect, add one Cyber Spell / Trap from your deck to your hand. You can only use each effect of Cybernetic Overflow once per turn. So this card is really good because you put a lot of Cyber Dragons with different levels in the graveyard, as core, hers, the original Cyber Dragon, and Infinity are all different levels. So at max you can have a total of 4 pops, but even then you only really need 1 to 2. This card doesn't target, which can be really good at times, and for some reason can float as well. You can even destroy Overflow and get a search. The only time you popping it is relevant is with Jamming Waves, but it didn't even need that effect, yet it does have that effect. This card alone doesn't make the deck want to go first, but that doesn't change the fact that having this card for going first is just so good. So overall, Cyber Dragons are a really good and fun deck. Honestly, yes, the deck does get heavily pulverized by the Dark Warrior deck that's starting to gain popularity. However, I still think this deck is really good, and most certainly the best sleeper deck this format. Speaking of the Dark Warrior deck, that deck's going to see a lot more popularity soon because of the new Phantom Knight link. If you want to know why but not limited to, card reviews, meta discussions, and much, much more. Thank you to John. Thought I was gonna say more again, right? Oh shit, I just did. No, but appreciate it. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and as well, please comment down below whether I should play Cyber Dragons in this format or not. I do have access to a Sky Striker deck this format, but like, this deck is pretty awesome. I'm also considering playing this deck for YCS Pasadena, so please help me decide. Also, come over to my channel. Again, that's BladeYGO. It should be linked somewhere, probably in the description and end card if you enjoyed the video. With that, I hope to see you soon.